Come on in, people. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We'll get it started in just a second. Just making sure everything is working like it's supposed to. Do. Okay. And bam, it's 8 o'clock. And go. Hey, what's happening, people? How y'all doing? Welcome to Messages in the Madness with yours truly, Vernon Longhorn Davis. Thank y'all for stopping in, popping in. I appreciate y'all. Hope you had a great and fabulous week. It's been a busy week. Yeah, Valentine's Day. So, happy Valentine's Day belated to those of y'all that do that kind of thing. And as I told y'all last week, I was in Wisconsin, and then this weekend I was in Kentucky in Brandenburg. And then last night I was in Mexico, Missouri, and that was my first time to Mexico, Missouri. It was a little different. So been moving around just a little bit. Had birthdays this weekend, so happy birthday again to our son Trey and our granddaughter Princess August, or Princess Izzy as we like to call her. Ah, it's wonderful. It was wonderful. Ran around with them, got to spend some time with them, and driving up and down the highway. So it was it was I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I slept about 3 hours today, a 3 hour nap. I don't think that's called a nap. That's just straight up sleep. But I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy that you guys are here. So let's look. Let me look at my magic mirror, see who's here. Hey, Miss DC Fluffy Baby Sis, good to see you. And brother Jerry, he said the best and only place to be on Sunday nights. I thank you for that, sir. Thank you very much. Hey, Mr. Net, how you doing? Yeah, glad to see you. That's what I'm talking about. So, man, make sure you hit like, love, share the message if you would. I greatly, greatly appreciate that. Trying to grow the family. So, and if you just stopping by, just hit like, love, or share the message. I appreciate that. You ain't got to stay for the whole thing, but at least do that for us. How about that? So, we've got people watching Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So let's get into, hey, Miss Marion, let's get into the message tonight. The title of the message tonight is called People Don't Care What You Know Until They Know That You Care. So I see we got a few more people popping in. So I'm going to say it again. Good evening and welcome to Messages in the Madness with your host, Vernon Longhorn Davis. Brother Jim, good to see you, sir. Before I get into tonight's message, let me tell you why I chose it. This week, two different states, two different rooms. I heard the same confirmation. It wasn't about jokes. It wasn't about performance. It was about expertise. It was about connection. Hey, Annette, good to see you. And when life repeats a lesson to you, you don't ignore it. You lean into it. You listen a little closer. You go, So that's what I did with this message. So tonight we're talking about something simple, very, very simple, but simple does not mean small. The truth is, people don't care what you know until they know that you care. That's deep. People don't care what you know until they know you care. I heard that phrase while I was training for my new job, my new day job. And at first it sounded like, strong leadership language, message kind of thing, something that belongs on a slide or a t-shirt, something you write down and you move on from. But then life started proving it to me and it stuck with me and I couldn't get it out of my head. So last week I was performing, like I said, in Wisconsin. It was a great crowd. We laughed. The energy was strong. And after the show, a young lady walked up to me and said, "Hey, I'm a public speaker too, a keynote speaker as well. She does it for engineers. She told me, hey, I think you're funny. I think you're hilarious. And I appreciated that. But then she said what really stood out to her wasn't just the comedy. She said what she loved most was that I connected with people. She said once I connected with them, they trusted me. And they did. They went with me on every joke. And because they trusted me, the message felt positive and uplifting. Well, any of y'all that have seen my show know that I try to, now don't try, I leave positive messages in my comedy. That really meant something to me. That really resonated with me. She wasn't analyzing my punchline. She wasn't critiquing my timing. She recognized the connection. She recognized the trust that the audience gave me after I showed them that I cared and that these are not just jokes. I really want you to leave here with something that will help you. Then last night, well, not last night, night before, I was in Brandenburg, Kentucky. Different room, different atmosphere. After the show, young man walks up to me and says, "Man, you're funny, but more than anything, I've never seen a comedian leave so many positive messages. I thought that was awesome." And I thought it was awesome. And don't get me wrong, if you've laughed at my jokes, I appreciate you. But when somebody tells me that they've got the positive messages that I was leaving, that meant I connected with them. At least one person, and maybe something I said made a difference in that person's life. So again, people don't care what you know until they know you care. Now listen, I'm sorry, Jerry, what you say? The delivery of the message matters as much as the message. You're right, Jerry, and sometimes the delivery of the message means more than the message. No, that the delivery of the sometimes the delivery of the message means more than the message. I think that makes sense. Hey, Miss Brown, good to see you. Hey, hey, daughter, good to see you as well. Now, listen, I appreciate laughs. Laughter is my currency. Comedy is my thing, and the currency of comedy is laughter. But when someone tells you they got the message and that the positivity reached them in a way that might help their life, that hits differently. That's a whole different situation right there. Because see, laughs are immediate. Ha 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 ha, boom, done. But messages can be lasting. And messages only travel across trust. If there's no trust, there is no travel with the message. And again, that phrase came back to me again. People don't care what you know until they know that you care. It resonated with me so much that I now start my training sessions with that. I've been doing it for about a couple of months now. I started saying that. Hey, Roger, good to see you, sir. When I walk into a room to train a group, I look at them and I say, hey, look, you don't know me. And what I'm about to say to you, you probably heard it before from somebody else. But none of this is going to mean anything to you until you know that I actually care. Because I can stand there with my experience, with data. I can stand there with processes and strategies. But if they think that I'm there to impress them, instead of investing in me, instead of investing in them, they will tune me out. If I'm not there to help them, they will tune me out. You've done it. I've done it. It's like, oh, God. Death by PowerPoint. So I make it clear that I care about what I'm training, and I care about what they are trying to accomplish in their jobs. When they feel that, the room shifts, the mood lightens, the questions open up, resistance is lowered, and conversations, they get real honest. They get straight with me, and they allow me to talk straight to them. But here's a uncomfortable truth. If people resist you, it may be because they doubt your intelligence. I mean, it may not be. I'm sorry. It may not be because they doubt your intelligence. It may be because they are unsure of your intentions. Yeah, yeah, you may want to sit and think about that one for a second. I'm like, they may be unsure of your intentions. That's pretty deep. Jerry says, live the message, be the message, deliver the message, see the message grow and evolve. You're absolutely right. Thank you for that, Jerry. Most messages are blocked by ego. Ooh, I was listening to something last night when I was driving home about ego. And you know what? That's going to be another topic. It's easier to assume people just don't get it than to ask whether they feel valued. Wow. Truth. It's easier to assume people just don't get it because it actually means you care. If you really want to ask, do they feel the value? Do they feel like they're valued? Now, let me bring this home for a minute. Roger says a lot of your messages in the madness have meant a lot and helped me. Well, Roger, thank you very much, sir. But my messages can't help you unless you genuinely believe that I care. And I hope that's what I convey when I come on and talking to this microphone and staring at this camera for 30 minutes and talk to y'all. I hope that y'all feel that. I hope that y'all see that. Yes, ego does stop everything. Ego can derail a train. But like I said, let me bring something home for a minute. Because see, yeah, you're right, baby sis. Jerry is kicking down knowledge and facts tonight. That's right. We see you, Big J. Yes, a ass of you and me. You're right. So, because this principle matters even more in marriage and family than it does in business. Yeah. Let me break it down for you. In marriage, nobody cares how right you are until they know how much you care. You can argue, you can win the argument and still lose the connection. You can present the best, cleanest logic in the world, but if your spouse feels unheard, your intelligence feels like dismissal. Yeah. And nobody wants to feel dismissed. Being correct is not the same as being connected. Yes. Being correct is not the same as being connected. Sometimes what your partner needs is not your solution, they need your presence. They don't need you to fix it immediately. They need to know that you feel it with them. They don't need to know that when they speak, yeah, they do need to know that. They need to know that when they speak, they matter more than your response. So you remember we talked about it the other day. You have to listen to learn, not listen to respond. So that goes back to that. Because see, when your spouse, significant other, whatever title you want to put on it, knows you care, then they can hear you. If they don't believe that you care, they're not listening. They're not being heard. And that's not great. It's not great at all. What happened to my chat? Okay, it's showing on the screen. When your people feel safe, they can receive correction. They feel valued. Growth becomes possible. Because see, none of these things are possible without care. Annette says, you care and you are my grounding point. Help me deal with NP. Thank you, Annette. Roger says, I feel it, brother. Well, thank you. I'm glad you feel it, man. The same thing applies to family. All y'all that know me knows I'm a big family guy, man. I love my family. I do. That's another. We're gonna talk about that part, and I had a thought. Now we'll talk about that later. As parents or mentors, elders, we often lead with authority. We say we've lived longer, so we know better, or we know more. Well, maybe you do, but maybe you don't. But see, children and young people don't respond first to authority. They respond to affection. They open up because they feel safe. If a child believes you care about their heart and not just their behavior, they will listen differently. Correction without connection feels like control. And that's true as an adult. Correction without a connection feels like someone's trying to control you. Facts. Correction with connection feels like guidance because you care and you care about where I'm going and what my outcome is going to be. That is a major difference. Friendships operate the same way. Most relationships don't fall apart because of disagreement. They fall apart because of perceived indifference. Yeah, that's how we're going to say that tonight. Perceived indifference, the assumption of. People can survive conflict. We can survive issues, challenges, or if you like to use that P word that I'm not a fan of, problems. I like to call them unresolved challenges. People can survive those things. What they struggle with is feeling unseen. If your friend feels like you only show up when it benefits you, the distance grows. It grows. But if they feel that you genuinely care about what they're carrying, the trust deepens. Jerry says growth happens when you have uncomfortable safety. Annette says, or they are mentally ill and only care about their agenda. There's a lot of truth to that. Jerry says leadership truly begins with vulnerability and humility. That is true too, Jerry. In every environment, though, the truth remains the same. People don't care how much you know about success, leadership, money, politics, parenting, life. They don't care you know how to swim. They do not care until they know that you care about them. Not their performance, not their productivity, not what they look like, their image. Them. The person. The human being with feelings. Facts. Now, let me make this personal again. I have presence. When I walk into a room, I walk in like I belong there. We talked about this last week. Even as a kid, I carried myself that way. Back then, though, some people misunderstood it. They thought I was showing off, drawing attention to myself. But looking back, I see something different. I see natural leadership mixed with a young man learning to stand firm in who he was. Now, as an adult, when I step onto a stage or into a conference room, my confidence often arrives before I speak. Sometimes my reputation precedes me. Sometimes it's received very well, but there have been times when it has not. If I lead only with knowledge and strength, it can be interpreted as arrogance. If I shrink myself to avoid that perception, I lose effectiveness. The balance I've learned is pairing confidence with care. Yeah. Confidence communicates competence. Care communicates character. When people see both, they lean in, they listen a little harder. They pins don't move as much because they're leaning in and they're listening, because they can feel that you care about them and that what you're presenting to them, they probably really want to hear and learn. In business, we are trained to lead with expertise, metrics, results, performance, strategy, all that matters. It does. All of that does matter. Knowledge matters, along with preparation and excellence. But knowledge without connection creates distance. Now, whether that's business or family or relationships, knowledge without connection creates distance. When someone feels unheard, your advice feels like pressure. When someone feels dismissed, your correction feels like criticism. And when someone feels valued, that same correction feels like development. Care changes perception. Care cannot be faked. People know, they sense it. Um, uh, you know, they sense it quickly when it's authentic. They know when you are trying to elevate yourself instead of elevate them. Hmm. Think about the people who changed your life. Hold on. Jerry says, leadership truly begins with vulnerability and humility. That's true. He also says you need to always understand their why. That happens with genuine conversations, listening to learn, not listening to respond. I said that, Jerry, and that is very true. Hey, Miss Armani, good to see you, sweetheart. Papa loves you. Glad you were here this weekend. You're really getting tall and beautiful, little girl. Um, think about it. Think about people who changed your life. It wasn't just what they knew, it was how they treated you. They listened, they remembered, showed up for you because you knew they cared. You trusted them because you knew that they cared. Because you trusted them. You allowed their knowledge to shape you and help you and guide you. So this week taught me something. Wisconsin reminded me that connection builds trust. Kentucky reminded me that trust carries the message. And my training rooms remind me that information only works when relationships come first. When I take the time before I start training to, hey, tell me about you. Hey, tell me about you. You know what? I saw you outside doing XYZ. Oh, that was a really nice truck. Talk to me about that. That interest part, showing the interest, genuine interest, not just, filling space with words. 3 different rooms, 3 different audiences, 1 consistent truth. It was never about my jokes. It was never about the slides that I show. It was never about how much I knew. It was about whether people felt seen. Because when people feel seen, they lean in, they listen, they pay attention. They will go out of their way for you. Some people don't know when people are actually listening. So what do? They say what they're going to say. Then they rush to the next thing without giving people time enough to process what it was that was said. You know why? Because they can't deal with the silence between what they said and your reaction. Facts. When people lean in, they're listening. They're paying attention. And when they listen, your knowledge finally has somewhere to land. You can impress people with what you know, and they may clap for you. They just might. But when people know you care, they will trust you. They will. They will trust you. And trust will carry your words further than knowledge ever could. Facts. Jerry says, where most fail is growth and understanding conversations getting used for manipulation for their growth. Once that trust has been betrayed, that cut never heals. And Jerry, you're on it tonight. It's true. Hey, Rita, good to see you. Exactly why I sit up front at all comedy shows and theater shows. Read. Oh, it's behind me. Read. I still got that $10 you sent me when I started. Thank you for your service. I framed it because you wrote on it, not for gas for the vets. But knowledge will carry your words further. I'm sorry, trust will carry your words further than knowledge ever could. And it's facts. So whether you're walking onto a stage or stepping into a boardroom, you could be sitting at the dinner table or standing in front of a training class. Don't lead with what you know. Lead with who you are. Lead with care. Because the smartest person in the room does not always change the room. Ooh, I think that's another little nugget. But the person who genuinely cares, that person leaves a mark long after the room empties. And that is the difference between being heard and being remembered. You're right, Annette. When you walk the walk, when you walk the walk and talk, people see it. Yes, they do. I tell people I love my job. The only time I work is the traveling part, but when I'm actually there doing what I come to do, I love doing it. I love training. I love telling jokes. I love speaking. And I tell people that, and it's amazing the reactions to that and how people react to me because I walk the walk and I talk the talk. So the difference between being heard and being remembered is what did you leave in that room to let people know that you cared? That's the biggest difference between being heard and being remembered is when people know that you care. They don't care what you know. They can read in the book what you know, but they can't find it in the book that you actually care about about the message that you're presenting and how it will affect them. And that's the message for tonight, y'all. So as we go into this week, we got teased with a little springtime now. It's about to get it's cold again. So everybody be safe, bundle up. Whatever you do, be good to yourself. Yeah. So this has been another episode of Messages in the Madness with your host, Vernon Longhorn Davis. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. Thank you for your comments. Thank y'all for okay, hold on. Magnificent message for how to get through this world daily madness. Thank you. Wishing you and everyone a lovely and productive week ahead. Love you too, baby sis. Miss Marion says, always love the show. Just wish in the future you might expand to 60 minutes. Really? I don't know if y'all can stand me for 60 minutes. But I will take it under consideration, Miss Marion. Maybe if a couple other people send me a message and say, hey, won't you try it at 60 minutes, then maybe we will try that, okay? Jerry says your memory is carried by the lives you touch. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yes. If you're up there in the Northeast, please be careful because y'all about to get walloped up there with some snow. So again, as I always say, man, I love you. God loves you. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Respect yourself. Hug them kids for me. Give them a big hug for me. Respect our vets. Until next Sunday, God say the same. This is Messages in the Madness with your host, Vernon Longhorn Davis. God bless y'all. $2.